Where's Orlando headed? Well, over the past couple of years, I've had the opportunity to meet with some of the biggest leaders and business owners here in Central Florida, from politicians and CEOs of billion-dollar companies, and get their insights into what opportunities we have here in Orlando and where they see our city going. So today I'm bringing out some of the best of those interviews and answering a lot of different questions that maybe you're thinking about, whether you live here already or you're considering moving here. Stay tuned. Now, one of the things on all of our minds as we're going across town is infrastructure and roads and traffic. Let's see what some of the leaders thought about how we can improve traffic here in Orlando.
But there's some key projects, I think. The Sunshine Corridor comes to mind.
You guys are behind that, yeah?
Yeah, we're definitely
helping with it.
Definitely want to see more transportation options. I mean, yes, we got to keep building. That's how the city's been built. There's no real changing that.
Right.
But how do you add options? If we could get the cars off the road that are going to Convention Center, Universal, and Disney, that would solve a lot of challenges that currently exist.
So I know over in the Universal area and the iDrive area, they were adding some like trolley systems that are potentially coming. Like it's almost thinking a little bit outside of the box that way, right? Yeah, if you can take a couple hundred cars here and there every hour, like it feels not as congested.
Yeah, I mean we're not a city where you could just build an underground train system.
No, yeah,
right. So we're going to have to think creatively, and we've developed rather so fast that now you got to really look at creative options, and there certainly are with technology, autonomous vehicles. There's lots of options. There's SunTrax down in Polk County.
What's that?
So SunTrax is affiliated with Florida Polytech.
Okay.
And it's kind of like smart roads, smart transportation testing bed. So that's a lot of ideas. The Expressway Authority. Most people may not think innovative.
Yeah.
They're really innovative. We got our first self-charging lane
516
coming on board.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do we make sure that we attract and retain talent long term here in Orange County?
No, I think it's all the things, right? Because I think even though something like our teachers, that is not necessarily under my purview, but one of the things that is to make sure that if we talk about that sort of the broad spectrum of housing options, the broad spectrum, the other pieces of affordability that are there, right? And that includes even making sure that when we're looking for school siting and working with OCPS on that, and something that Horizon West, I think, should be the model of is how can we make sure that anybody who wants to get to school in a way besides a single rider vehicle can do that.
Sure.
If we can get people walking and biking, we also get a health benefit. We get them off the road. Mm-hmm. We don't have to hire extra bus drivers, and we get a health benefit, but we have to do that safely. So that's, to me, a huge priority, but that's something that you invest in, right? Mm-hmm. You get multi-use, big, huge, wide multi-use pass, and you make sure they connect and that they connect again, and that we provide, adequate, I would say even sort of the health safety pieces of that, right? Coming out and doing the helmet fittings and so that people want to do it.
This episode is brought to you by the Pozek Group Real Estate Agents, my real estate team here in Orlando. Check us out over on Google. We've got over 1,400 5-star reviews, and we're here to help whether you're looking to sell or buy a house whenever that time comes. Reach out at theorlandoreal.com/YouTube. For decades, Orlando has been known for travel and theme parks. Hospitality is some of the best in the world. And yet, that is starting to change in regards to the job offerings that we have here locally. Here's what we found out.
One of the things that we've recently started investing in, and it's something that I think is such a cool idea, to your point, that diversification of economic drivers, right?
Have to.
And so we have these small business incubators and incubators for high-tech type corridors, because once you get one, then you kind of get that ecosystem, right? And then you can start building off of those. And so the hope is to see sort of those to, cycle out. We have UCF here is such a treasure and a gem. Yeah. And so I'm hopeful that, we've put in some money there for those incubator programs. And I'm hoping the next 5-10 years, we start to see even more development in that direction and adding some of those high-tech type jobs.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like Neo City. I know over in Lake Nona, they've got Lead Up. There's a lot of different I think that stuff's great. And pouring back into them, making sure that they stick around.
That's right.
Before Disney even, we had Martin Marietta. So we have Lockheed Martin now. Over 10,000 people are employed here in Central Florida by Lockheed Martin. Most of them, if not all of them, in technology fields. Yeah. So we have a huge, we now have more people working in tech than working at Walt Disney World in Central Florida.
That's crazy. That's a huge stat right there. Actually, make sure you got to clip that. That's so good. That's what other industries do you feel like? So Tech is a big one. Like Lockheed Martin is also national defense, right? Or defense contractors.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of following that defense theme, we have the largest modeling, simulation, and training cluster in the world. So what that means in the world. So all of the military branches have procurement offices here, and just military business alone, there's over $6 billion a year awarded in contracts. So it's a lot of stuff people can't talk about,
Sure.
Which is why they don't know about it.
Right.
But even down to what's on the Mars rover, there's lots of components that are made here, designed here in Central Florida. JetBlue trains all their pilots here in Central Florida because of the flight simulators.
Yeah, we did SimCon Aviation. They did a tour for us. That's incredible. Like I had no idea that stuff existed.
Yeah, that was one of our projects. So it's often the non-sexy stuff, the what actually drives business investment is what we're focused on.
With over 1,000 people relocating to Orlando every single week, or at least the Central Florida area, we need a lot more houses. We need a lot more places for people to stay, and a different variety of those. And so we've had some interesting conversations with some of the people in the development space. Here's what they had to say about Orlando's growth, both downtown and in the suburbs.
So what's next for Orlando, do you think? I mean, you've seen a big change, I'm sure. Where do you see us going as a region?
Well, Orlando is going to become much more sophisticated, I think. With the Nobu Hotel got announced, and you mentioned the W. Well, we're doing the Tao Hotel, and we're doing the Tao Restaurant. And we have some other parts of O-Town that we haven't announced yet that are equally as sexy, times 2 or 3 more coming in that will come, be announced soon. I think like with what we're doing over there at O-Town with the Tao Hotel, it's a sophisticated experience. It's different than downtown. Like my daughter will go downtown and the downtown is, what we're creating is just a more sophisticated experience, and we're going to have some great restaurants, and that's what we've lacked in Central Florida is really great restaurants. We've had great chains, Yard House. I've built a few of those. They're great. We've got different restaurants here, Eddie V's, which is a wonderful restaurant. But these unique restaurants that you find in New York and Chicago and LA, we've lacked those, and we're getting them now. And I think it's going to change the face of Central Florida. It's going to change the conventioner. We think our Tao Hotel is going to play very well to the conventioners. We think the restaurant will. And it will just offer a more adult experience and not just Disney. We're not just Disney. We're not just Universal.
Let's level up a little bit.
It's a great place to go, and it's a great place to live too.
So they've got the whole connection here. We got under I-4. This is going to be more like park and like usable space eventually, which I think is really cool. When I first heard about it getting announced, I'm like, there's no way. And then the more they actually finished it out, I'm like, okay. And then you got the $500 million Amway Center, like entertainment district. It's going to make this great. But what's going on behind us?
We're getting new tenants, new restaurants. There's a lot of activity that's been happening here. If Cheyenne can get reactivated, we've done some conceptual planning for this corner. It doesn't seem like a lot, but there's actually a lot of real estate on this corner. Like if we extend the balcony to Cheyenne around to this side, put a new elevator in the back. We've created kind of a patio space. Now this is all just conceptual work that we've done, but like it works. It works on this corner and it makes it active. New Truist Tower, the Lincoln building called The Edge is happening right there. Cheyenne Saloon gets reactivated, a new food hall, a new platform for the Sunrail. Urban Park, sports entertainment district, the West Church Corridor suddenly becomes like something to talk about.
And it's easy. I mean, you've got Winter Park, Maitland, everybody up Seminole County, easy to get to. You've got, from the park section, you've got a lot of easy on and off to get to this section as well. So I feel like you're not only planning on the people that live downtown to use this. I mean, it's going to be something that all of Central Florida can take advantage of.
This brings Church Street back to what it was. Like when I moved here, Sharper Image was here, restaurants were here, like you would actually come down to do something on Church Street.
So what's something you're excited about for the future?
I think, we have a great opportunity in Lake Nona in terms of some of the development we have on the near horizon. And in the developers world, that's 4 or 5 years. But in some of the town center work that we have planned, I think it's going to be great. And I think we have the opportunity to add to the city of Orlando, to really to help, the city, to continue to contribute to the city of Orlando, and also really, set the stage for the United States and what we can do here. And so I'm really excited about that,
Not too long ago, Travel and Leisure named Orlando as one of the best foodie cities in all of America. What did our local leaders think about our food scene and how that's starting to shape up?
When I first moved here, I was like, oh man, I don't really like it here. It's just so slow. But then within the last, I want to say 5-10 years, everything's so drastic, everything's so different now. The food here is like, I always say this, and I argue with a bunch of Orlando people on threads, but I personally think it's a very underrated city for food.
I agree.
And there's tons of good stuff, and everywhere I go, obviously the bigger cities, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, they're going to have a lot of really good food and a lot of options. But for what it's worth, Orlando, it's top rated in my opinion. I always think like, oh man, I think that pho or the Chinese barbecue here is still a little bit better.
You're traveling all over. What does Orlando need still?
I think we need more lounges.
Yeah, like what?
Like very similar to like a Tori Tori or like Wellborn, like those types of spots. I don't think clubs are really as popular anymore.
No. Well, it's because you're 40. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's true too.
So it's okay.
That's true too.
You're right. Yeah.
We probably don't need any more boba spots or coffee spots either.
What do people actually want out of community that's going to cause them to like put down roots and stay? And selfishly, I don't want my kids to move away. And I'm just like, how do we create like this community in Orlando? And how do we go deeper to make people realize this is a great place that they can call home for the duration? Right. And it's cool stories like you that make it part of people wanting to stay.
Well, I hope that all of these new people that are coming to Central Florida do seek out the local, appreciate that local, because that's what keeps us around. It's awesome that we've attracted so much, but the more we get the franchises, the more we get the giant corporations that are going, ooh, Orlando's a cool food scene. Let's open up, 10 of these coffee shops.
Yeah.
The more expensive that square footage cost gets, and the more it pushes out people like me. And then all of a sudden, Central Florida is now reverted back to being all those Olive Gardens and Outbacks. So support local. Look to see who's local. Enjoy what you love. If you're obsessed with the chain, like even when it comes to like my little world, if you love that better than me, then awesome. I'm not pissed at you for it.
Right.
But if you're part of the community and you really support local and you want to see that grow, that's how you do it.
I have to be honest, I'm really excited with where Orlando is headed, and I think we've got some incredible leaders here locally that are going to help us get there. And let me know down below, what are some other things that Orlando still needs that you wish that we had, but maybe we don't, or you don't see it on the horizon? And before you leave, hit the subscribe button. We're putting out videos like this every single week, bringing you insights into leaders and real estate and living here in Orlando. We'll see you guys on the next video.